How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Family. We are back with another FPL video, and today we're going to be taking a look at a series that we did last season, and I thought was quite successful, and a lot of you enjoyed it. It's the buy, hold, and sell. Players that we think you should buy because they're either red hot or have a good run of fixtures coming. Players that we think you should hold on to because either they didn't do so well last week, or maybe they're just coming back from injury, or maybe they were out for a week or something like that, and they still have a chance to potentially redeem themselves. And then players we think you should just get rid of. They're no longer going to be good to your fantasy teams, and you just have to get rid of them because they could be going down in price, injured, a whole bunch of different reasons to sell a player in FPL. If you do enjoy this series, or you've been liking all the videos on the channel, or a combination of both, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and turn those notification bells on so that you can get the content as soon as it is readily available. Drop us a follow up on Twitter if you want to keep up to date with all our posts and any FPL related news, as well as price rises and price falls. I've been retweeting those over on Twitter as well. And lastly, give us a follow over on Twitch so that you can see when we go live for our preview and deadline streams. Those are going to be continuing this weekend as well. We will be having a deadline stream 1 hour before the FPL deadline over on Twitch. There'll be a pinned comment down below that you can check out to get more info on that one. So without further ado, let's talk about our partners for this season with Fantasy Football Scout. We've partnered up with Fantasy Football Scout for this coming Fantasy Premier League season, and they're giving you an exclusive offer. Use the link down in the description to get 20% off your Fantasy Football Scout membership. It gives you access to the exclusive members area, which has new tools such as the 3-player comparison tool, as well as some old favorites such as the Rate My Team tool, the Season Ticker, and my personal favorite, the fully customizable stats tables, which you can share among other Fantasy Football Scout members, powered by Opta Stats. Use the link down in the description below to get 20% off your membership today. Sign up now. Now, normally we would see which players we chose to buy, hold, and sell for the previous week on a graphic, but since this is the first week, we're just going to be picking 3 players. And the first one that we have that's going to be on the buy list this week is Mason Greenwood. I think if you're on the market for a new midfielder, I think Mason Greenwood is your man. The next 3 fixtures in particular are fantastic. Southampton away, Wolves away, Newcastle at home. And I think that he could start in all 3 of those, whether it be up front or out on one of the flanks. I think that United's front 3 are very flexible, and I think that Greenwood is going to be kind of the placeholder for as long as Marcus Rashford is not in the team. Solskjaer tends to like his sort of favorites, which Greenwood is definitely one of those. He definitely likes the kind of homegrown talent there. And when Cavani comes back, Greenwood will probably shift out to the right, and Sancho will play out on the left with Martial playing as backup on the left and James playing backup on the right, with Mason and Martial also being able to take the number 9 role when needed. Now, when Europe comes into consideration, that's probably a time to get rid of Mason Greenwood. I would say probably game week 5, 6-ish is probably when you got to look to potentially move him on. But for the next 3 fixtures, I can see him getting some significant minutes in those, starting potentially all 3 of them. And even if he gets hooked after 60, 70 minutes, he's such a good finisher that he's bound to get you FPL points. And if it just shows from the stats. So we only have the stats from obviously game week 1, which is why the season stats in the last 4 matches, or last 4 game week stats, sorry, are identical. He got 1 goal. He created a big chance, which was his only chance created, and he had 1 shot inside the box, which has a 0.27 xG, which basically means that 1 in 4 of those go in, unless you're Mason Greenwood, in which case 1 in 1 of those go in. So he is a very clinical finisher. Solskjaer has said that he is the best finisher at the club, over Rashford, over Martial, over Bruno, over Cavani. He is the guy when it comes to putting the ball in the back of the net from the most difficult situations. And I think him playing through the middle will only see him grow as a player. And I think that for 7.5 million, he's going to be a better buy than other midfielders in that price bracket. I see United doing heavy damage to the likes of Southampton and Newcastle. And whether that's off the bench or starting from the beginning, I think that Greenwood is definitely going to be involved in that, whether he plays through the middle, which we definitely would like him to because he'd be out of position there. But even from the right as well, he often drifts into central areas. If he can get his movement on point as good as Edinson Cavani's, he's going to be a fantastic fantastic player and probably soon to be one of the bright shining stars on the front runners of football, alongside the likes of Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland, who are the new rising stars at the moment, trying to succeed Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, who are in the twilights of their career. Now that with that being said, we've got our buy out of the way, let's talk about a player who you should probably hang on to if you started with him for Game Week 2. Now, a lot of FPL managers thought, I'm going to get a Man City player in right off the start, and most of them were drawn towards Riyad Mahrez. Some went with Ferran Torres, some went with Ilkay Gundogan, some went with a combination of the three. Who knows? Even Jack Grealish was a consideration at 8 million, but Riyad Mahrez was kind of the FPL Twitter pick, as it were. He currently sits at 7.7% total ownership across the game, and he has that almighty fixture in Game Week 2, which is what every FPL manager who thought of a Man City asset was looking at. Norwich at home. That's the one you really want them for. And Riyad Mahrez, if you look at his stats for the game that they played versus Spurs, he had a big chance. He created a chance. It wasn't a big chance, it was a regular chance. And he had one shot inside the box, which is a 0.55 XGI, which means that if he took that shot again, he's probably going to score, which is definitely encouraging for those who own Riyad Mahrez. I wouldn't be selling him anytime soon. Maybe there's some, thoughts about Ilkay Gundogan just because of, is he going to be fit? He was pictured in training in a team that, won, whether it be the bib theory or not, who knows? But he definitely has been pictured in training, taking part in the activity that all the other normal players who are fit are taking part in. So he would potentially be a concern for a sell. But I think Riyad Mahrez would be going nowhere from my team if I had him. I think he could definitely do damage versus Norwich. Is he susceptible to an early substitution? Potentially. He was apparently the player that was going to be coming off before the free kick was taken around the 62nd, 63rd minute mark, when they actually took off Raheem Sterling afterwards. Pep kind of had a bit of a change of heart. So one to keep an eye out for. But we know with Pep Roulette, anything is possible. I think Mahrez is definitely secure for this game in Game Week 2. I expect him to start because I just don't think anyone is going to be out on that right-hand side doing what he does best, which is cutting in on his left foot or creating chances by just dribbling past defenders, making them look silly. Now, with the inclusion of Kevin De Bruyne, that makes his teammates for the likes of, Ferran Torres and Ilkay Gundogan spots potentially at risk. I think Jack Grealish, for his price tag at 100 million, is definitely not going anywhere out of the starting lineup unless he's played literally, 10 games in a row. Although with Pep Guardiola, you never know, to be perfectly honest. But I think Riyad Mahrez definitely secure. Even if he gets 30 minutes off the bench versus a tired Norwich, I think he's definitely worth the value there. Can easily score off the bench. I've seen times where Mahrez has come off and got a goal and assist in 30 minutes, no problem. A brace off the bench. The best FPL assets can do that on their day as well. And Norwich is definitely going to be run ragged because Man City just came off a loss versus Spurs at White Hart Lane, and they're not going to be impressed with that start. So they're going to come here with a vengeance and probably make up a sizable goal difference here for this one. So if you have Riyad Mahrez, I would say hold on to him. I think he could definitely do well this game week and potentially rack up some large number of points for your FPL teams. Now, with the hold out of the way, let's look at a player that he did well in Game Week 1, scored a goal. But I think it's time to get rid of him for Game Week 2. And that player to get rid of is Diego Jota, in my opinion. 7.5 million. Like I said, Mason Greenwood's probably the one to get because he's going to be guaranteed minutes. Now, Diego Jota has one potential caveat which could make him good for those managers that own him. 13% of the total managers playing FPL that have registered at the moment. It's the fact that he did score in Game Week 1, and one of those two big chances he was able to put away. 0.39 XGI, 2 shots inside the box, so definitely looking lively as a goal scorer. Not really on the providery sort of angle. I don't even know if providery is a word, but basically he didn't create any chances or big chances for his teammates. The one caveat I would say is that the likelihood that Firmino and Salah and Mane have to miss out in Game Week 4 could be quite high due to some quarantining rules on international duty. Now, if players are, they get exemption from that, we still don't know the situation on that, but that would leave the likes of Diego Jota, who would be on the kind of free list, as it were. It's only, I believe, South American and African players that are involved in this just because of the countries they have to go to are on the red list. And I think maybe Central America as well, because I saw Raul Jimenez on there, and I know he plays for the Mexican national team. So there could be a bit of issues there, which would leave their only forward to be Diego Jota. So he wouldn't be a good sell in that case. But I think he could see a benching this coming week. Firmino's probably fully fit now, and Klopp tends to like playing Firmino, Mane, and Salah. Now, there is arguments to say that Sadio Mane could be the one who could be benched, which would mean that Jota would fill in on that left-hand side, and Firmino would play centrally with Salah playing on the right-hand side. But I think you're trying to overcomplicate things. I just think he isn't really going to be a great asset long term. Whether it's a transfer in this game week 3 when they play Chelsea away, game week 4 when they play Leeds away, you're just going to want to have somebody better, more consistent in that role. I mean, in game week 3, Rafinha plays Burnley away. He's 1 million less. Mason Greenwood probably has the next 3 fixtures locked down. He's the same price. You have Harvey Barnes, who has great fixtures as well. He has Norwich at home, I believe, or Norwich away in game week 3. He's 0.5 million less. You have Ben Rama, who got a goal and an assist. He costs 6 million. He's very cheap. Sarr from Watford as well, 6 million. I think all of those players could do better than Diego Jota just because of the possible benching that he could receive in the next game or two. Whether it's this game coming up or in game week 3, I'm not too sure. If I had him personally, I didn't start with him for this this particular reason, because I went with Tsimikas, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Salah, and I know Tsimikas is not going to be a long-term thing, but he is a cheaper player. He's a much cheaper player, 3.5 million cheaper to be precise. Diego Jota is just a benching headache. I don't want to go anywhere near that. It's the reason why I didn't start with City players as well. So if you have Diego Jota, I would consider, taking what you got in game week 1 with the 8-pointer and then kind of moving on to the next one. And that's going to do it for Game Week 2's edition of Buy, Hold, and Sell. If you did enjoy the video, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. It greatly helps out the channel, as well as turn those notification bells on so that you can get the content as soon as it is readily available. Drop us a follow over on Twitter so you can keep up to date with any and all FPL news, whether price rises, price falls, players getting injured, team news, all that sort of stuff. As well as give us a follow over on Twitch so that you can join us live for our FPL preview and deadline stream, which we will be doing one on this Saturday for the Game Week 2 deadline. So there'll be a pinned comment down below that you could check out. That'll give you a link for that. And lastly, use the link down in the description below for Fantasy Football Scout. The offer runs out on Sunday. You can get 20% off still for your Fantasy Football Scout membership. So use the link down in the description below. It's a personal link for myself, and it helps benefit me, which also helps benefit you guys because the members area is fantastic. It'll help elevate your FPL game to the next level. Thank you all for watching, and until the next one, take care.